Hi air signs, welcome to this pick a card reading for 2024. The messages are for anyone whose sun, moon or rising sign is Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. So all you need to do is just use your intuition. We're purely going off intuition today and just see which of the decks stands out for you. So we have a deck here, first deck here, pile 1, deck 2 or pile 2 here, and deck 3 or pile 3 here. So these messages, it's what you need to know for 2024. So it could be an important event, a specific theme or a specific turning point that happens at any time during 2024. Feel free to watch the reading for one of the decks, two of the decks or all of the decks. If you have a sun, moon or rising sign that is also fire sign, earth sign or water sign, you're welcome to watch those as well. So yep, again, just take a look at the decks. There's no objects today, so it's pure intuition and see what stands out to you, and then we'll get into the readings. Okay, welcome back, group 1, deck 1, pile 1, whatever you want to refer to yourself as. So again, the messages are for anyone whose sun, moon or rising sign is Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. It's all air signs. It's what you need to know for 2024, an event, a theme, a turning point at any time during 2024, whatever's relevant. Just want to say thank you to everyone who likes, shares, comments on the video, subscribes to the channel. It's all very much appreciated. And if you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. So we're going to start with an oracle, well, probably about 3 oracle messages from the Le Vampires deck first of all. And I am going to list all of the decks I've used in the description box. So yeah, we're going to start off with a message from Le Vampires first, or several messages from Le Vampires first of all. So air signs, group 1. Well, one's fallen out already. The hope card has fallen out of the deck. I'm not going to take it, but I will show it to you. So that's the hope card. Anticipation, bright prospects, wish. And let's give them one more shuffle and get your first message out. So for group 1 or deck 1, what do we need to know for 2024? Okay. So group 1, air signs, what you need to know for 2024. So far you've got free will, sovereignty, independence, free spirit. And hopefully I've got enough space to put all of these cards, because I'm going to be using quite a few cards for the main spread today. Anything else that air signs need to know for 2024, group 1? You also have redemption, absolution, forgiveness and penance. And let's get one more. One more for air signs for 2024, please. Okay, just bear with me a minute, that's gone. So the final one is compassion, empathy. Can you see that? Empathy, simpatico, kindness. So first and foremost, whatever's going on, whatever happens, you may need to there may need to be forgiveness towards yourself, to be honest, because you've got the compassion card, you've got the card of forgiveness, you've got free will. The first question I'd want to ask, are there any issues where you've wanted to kind of exert your free will and you haven't in the past? Have you felt held back in any way, shape or form, and you're sort of coming into a time now where you're kind of expressing yourself more authentically and not letting anything hold you back? You could potentially be someone who feels a bit bad or guilty or in some sort of way about holding yourself back in the past. You know, we sort of feel like, oh God, I've wasted 10 years doing such and such or believing such and such. And, you know, you can get into that kind of frame of mind where you kind of blame. I think blame is the key word, isn't it? Blame or shame or something along those lines. And it's sort of getting out of that and just sort of thinking, right, so yeah, that happened. What can I learn from it? Let's move on. But let's get your tarot cards now. Let's get your spread. So this is a bit of a different spread than I usually use, so we'll see how it works out. So we're going to look at the past energies first of all. So this is kind of where you've been, where you're coming from, how you got here, how you got to the point you're at now. If they ever come out. Right, that was very dramatic, wasn't it? So you've got strength first of all. You've got death, the tower. Let's put those, put them like that. So I'm doing like a 3 by 3, if that makes sense. Feels like it's got to be that way. If you feel like the shuffling's taking too long, you are welcome to fast forward through the video, because, as I say, I'm getting quite a few cards out, so it might take a while. So, as I said, this is all past energies I'm still doing at the minute, because I'm doing like a 3 by 3. So three columns, 3 rows. I mean, I could technically get all the cards out before I switch the camera on, but I like you to see that I'm not just picking out random shit and making stories up. I want you to see the cards as they come out. But as I say, you can shuffle through, fast forward through if you feel like it's just too much to watch. I know not everybody's a fan of shuffling, so right, second row is the present. It's where you stand, where you are now. Yep, there's not going to be that much space for everything, but I will do my best. Okay. I may have to shuffle stuff around actually after, just to make more space. Right, and lastly, we're going to do potential future energies. As I always say, the future is not set in stone. So, right, I'm just going to pause quickly. Yes, I should have had a practice run on the actual table. I did practice the spread, but not on the table. So I'm just going to shuffle things around to make a bit more space. It'll only be a second for you. Okay, hopefully that's a bit better. And then, as I said, the last row, yes, it is a row, not a column, is the potential future energy. Okay. Right, that's it. Last one now. I have got a clarifying deck as well if I need it. I'm not going to go clarify every single card because it is a lot, but if there's anything I feel we need any more info on, I'll look at that. Right, so starting off with the past energies, kind of where you've been, where you've come from, how you've gotten to the point you're at now. So we have the Strength card in reverse, the Death card, and the, okay, yeah. So clearly whatever foundation you had before, it wasn't strong enough with the Strength card, Death, and the Tower. I mean, the Death card and Tower are big cards of change, aren't they? They are massive cards of change. So whatever foundation you had, whether it was in a relationship, the structure of your life, in a career, your path, whether it be your spiritual path, creative path, whatever it was, the foundation wasn't strong enough, and it needed to fall apart so that you could have a rebirth. I can quickly have a look, see if it tells us anything specific. Obviously, it is a general reading, so you apply it however it resonates in your life. Yeah, let's get a few for the Strength card, Death, and the Tower. Is there anything specific here? So for some people, financially, there might have been something financially that wasn't stable. Whether it is just literally money, whether it's your home, there could be something legally. By the way, if you see a white powder on my hands, it's nothing dubious. I've just powdered the deck because it was so sticky, so it's just corn flour. That's all. Yeah, there might have been a legal issue. You could have There might have been something legally here. I don't know if I mentioned home, something to do with somebody's home might not have been stable as well. Might be something around work, and it doesn't necessarily mean financially it could be financial for some with work. It could just be in terms of how it felt, you know, like if you've been doing a job that you hate, that kind of energy. Somebody could have been made redundant, somebody could have left a job. Anything else? I'm actually recording, aren't I? Yes. It can be relationship related, because the Five of Pentacles can speak of being left out in the cold kind of as well, and rejection, that type of energy. And then we have the Five of Cups, which is, it's the emotional loss, isn't it? So yeah, it could be a relationship, whatever it was. As I say, something wasn't strong enough and it had to be torn down. But I mean, you've got the Justice card here in between the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups, so that's kind of suggests to me that although it didn't work out in your favour, it was probably for the best, even though it may not seem like it at the time. Let's just get one more. Yeah, and I can see that in the this card here. I'll explain that in a minute. This card, this one kind of represents your energy, what's happened with you. For some, there could have been a spiritual awakening, possibly, because of the Death card and the Tower being there. Sometimes that can refer to awakening, even if it's not spiritual, just becoming very aware of something and the need for something to change. Yeah, I mean, the truth, whatever the truth is here with a Knight of Swords, something's been exposed, whether it's a truth that was exposed to you with that Moon card being there. That's usually what's hidden. And then you've got the Knight of Swords there, or it's that you've realized that you need to express or expose your truth more. So I don't know why I feel the need to mention, if it's happened, it's happened, so it doesn't make a difference whether I say it or not. If somebody's realised the truth about a relationship with someone, if there's been something exposed there about someone's intentions, their behaviours, what they've been up to, potentially behind your back, that's something that could have come up. Also something potentially with work, and I mean, sometimes it could be referred to like backstabbing at work, and competitiveness, or it can be just the truth of realizing that the path you followed in terms of work, or spiritually even as well, is not your truth. It's not in line with your truth, not in alignment with your truth. So we'll leave that there, because I know I have taken quite a few cards out for that, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to put these back in the deck actually. I'm not going to leave clarifiers out. I'm going to just reuse them. Yeah, I can see a lot of the white powder. It is just cornflour, by the way, and it doesn't harm the cards. It's just if the deck is mega sticky, and yeah, it had to be done because this deck has been sticky for a while. So as I was saying, I could see why it would be for your benefit, because as I said, this card along this column here, that this all represents you, whether it is past, present or future. It represents you and how you're dealing with things, what you're going through, what you've experienced. This middle column, this kind of represents what you need to know or be aware of within the situation. And here, for me, the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Cups represents progression towards your happiness, what feels fulfilling. So if something, well, we know something's fallen apart here, wasn't stable, wasn't secure, wasn't a strong enough foundation, the purpose of that happening is so that you can progress towards what is truly fulfilling and happy for you. So I don't need to clarify that. Let's have a look at this. So this column of cards here all represents, so kind of like advice, guidance, what you can learn from the situation. So you've got the Page of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. Well, starting again is one thing, not being afraid to start again, because the Seven of Pentacles is the whole question of, is it worth it? Is it worth your time, energy, or effort? The Page of Cups is vulnerability, or can be vulnerability. It can also be about expression as well, usually emotional or creative. And then you've got the Page of Wands, who's off on a new path, on a new journey. For me, it feels like he's answering a calling. It can be associated with being a messenger or receiving messages as well. And it just kind of says that what you learn from this is, well, first of all, to listen, because of seeing that Page of Wands, it's to listen to your inner child. That's what comes through. Yeah, listening to your inner child. I know that's quite cliche, this whole inner child thing, but you've got cards that represent two kids here. So whatever, like say if it was relating to a dream, It's like that vulnerable, innocent, pure side of yourself knows what your real dream is, doesn't it? It doesn't give a shit about the logic and the practicality of things. I'm not saying that those things aren't important, but in knowing what your purest heart's desire is, you do kind of listen to your inner child in a way, don't you? So what you learn from that is not be afraid to be vulnerable and listen to what it is that you truly want. And then from that, not being afraid to go out and truly express who you are, what you value, what your desires are. Not being afraid to explore. If you are questioning in your life, is something worth it? Then, you know, listen to your inner voice, to your purest intentions of what you want. So I'm also not. Do I want to clarify that? I don't feel like it's necessary, to be honest, because as I say, it's a general reading for multiple people, so everybody's desires and that are going to be individual, aren't they? So we'll move on to the middle row, which is now where you stand now, where you are in the present. So we've got the World and we have the Lovers. So it's interesting the way the energies follow. And so you've got the World now. So you are, I would say that you're at the beginning of a new cycle, or on the cusp. The word cusp is coming to mind. You're on the cusp of a new cycle. I mean, 2024, it's a new year. But yeah, I would already say it's a cycle that's already beginning, or it's very much the cusp. And you've got the Lovers there. So it's connecting with what you love. This new cycle is connecting with what you love, whether it is a person, a path, or a thing that's very specific. I will get clarifiers for that. What else do we need to know about that, please? About the World and the Lover. So this is you. This is, again, it's your energy, isn't it? Yeah, you've got the Ace of Cups there. It's whatever feels fulfilling to you. I'd say you've acknowledged that at this point in time, and you are ready. You're ready for it, whether you've put things in progress or whether it's just the awareness of it. But it is still very much feeling in the present. It's very much the beginning of the journey. Even if, and I know it's going to sound weird, but even if you've put effort into something, or if it was a spiritual awakening or something, you're like, oh, but I've started this like 6 months ago. Yeah, it still feels like very much like the beginning, and it does sound weird, but yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah, it does make sense. I don't know how else to explain it, but it really feels like the beginning still. So anything else? Five of Cups. See, when I was shuffling that and that came out, I was looking back at the compassion, redemption and free will cards. And remember at the beginning when I said there may be something where you kind of need to forgive yourself if you feel like you've wasted time or something to that effect. I'm getting that vibe here as well, where it's like you acknowledge what it is that you find fulfilling. You acknowledge kind of what you feel are the mistakes you've made, and it's kind of getting past that, because sometimes that can hold you back. Like, even if you're ready to move forward, you might have so many regrets from the past that it just impacts you moving forward. It causes a bit of a blockage, doesn't it? But let's see what else comes out for that. Right, so you have the Page of Cups. I mean, that is, again, that's being ready to express, isn't it? To admit what it is you really desire. You've got the Ten of Swords. Why is the Ten of Swords there in reverse? There was something when I was shuffling before and that came out, and there was a meaning for it, and I can't remember what it is. It could be a delay, but there's something else as well, and I can't remember what it is, and that's going to bother me now. Why is that Ten of Swords there in reverse, please? So you've got the Queen of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, let's get one more. Knight of Cups and the Sun. Yeah, the only thing I can think of for that Ten of Swords, or feel that makes sense, is a bit of a delay. A little bit of a delay. And I mean, you've got the Hanged Man here, and then you've got the Six of Cups. Yeah, so if there is anything unresolved from the past, sorry, I just heard a loud noise, and I'm the only person in my apartment, so it's weird when that happens. If there are any issues from the past, like say with that Five of Cups that you still haven't kind of fully addressed or dealt with, that could be kind of holding you back just a little bit. I mean, you've got these are all quite successful cards here. With that Queen of Wands, you've got the Ten of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, the Sun. I mean, that is like someone pursuing the dream, isn't it? And being very successful, or the potential to be very successful at the very least. But you've got a Ten of Swords there that's in reverse. So it does feel like there's something that kind of, there might be some, it might not even, it could very well be something that you've got within you that needs to be resolved. But there could also be something in your life specifically that you kind of need to that needs to fully come to an end before you can move ahead as well. I mean, there could potentially be confidence issues, seeing that Queen of Wands and the Sun. That might be one thing where you haven't fully gotten past any confidence issues. That's just one thing, but there could be something else very specific here. Like, say, I don't know, again, if we're going to go down the job route, it could be that you need to fully tie things up with an old job or an old way of doing things, an old system, before you can fully embrace the new. If it was in terms of romantic relationships, it could be that maybe there are a few emotional traumas or whatever, things that you still haven't fully come to terms with, and you kind of need to address that before you can move forward. But yeah, I don't know if this is still the meaning that I was thinking of before when it came out, but yeah, delay is the only thing of kind of wrapping something up. I mean, I did say for a lot of people you're on the cusp, but then when you move into something new, it doesn't mean you fully, I know the world in general is about completing an old cycle successfully and moving forward, but you know, there can be residual whatevers that still can slow things down a little bit. It's not that they can maybe prevent it altogether, but they just put a little bit of a spanner in the works. So I'll move these and we will look at that. I will definitely be clarifying that Hanged Man. That is, so the World and the Lovers is you. It's readiness. It's being on the cusp. As I say, even if you have put some time or energy into the new thing, it's still really feels like the beginning, strangely. So the Hanged Man. And I'm getting the thing about takeoff as well, like where, you know, where something may not, you may have started it, but it still hasn't fully taken off. So that still feels like the beginning. I don't know, I'm getting a plane image now, like where, you know, like if a plane is on the runway and it's like is it taxiing when it is driving, whatever you want to call it, along on the, what do you call, why has my mind gone blank all of a sudden, runway. So it hasn't taken off yet, but it's moving along to get into the right position before it can take off. It's that kind of image is coming into my mind, so take that as you will. Right, Hanged Man. So this is what you need to be aware of, or what you need to know in present energy again. You may still, because that free will card is there, sovereignty, independence, free spirit, that could be part of that that whole delay thing. I said there's something in terms of independence or sovereignty, even free spirit as well, that's kind of, yeah, there's something that needs to be addressed there, possibly, before you can fully take off with this. So you've got the Eight of Swords. I mean, that's been held back, isn't it? And then you've got the Seven of Cups. That's looking at different perspectives. So there may be something that you, I mean, Hanged Man is a card of perspectives that you haven't quite figured out yet, or that you need to kind of understand or figure out before you can fully take off. Yeah, that's just going to be the key word now, take off. Anything else we need to know about that Hanged Man, please? So we've got the Moon there. Yeah, I mean, that's what's hidden, isn't it? And then the Knight of Wands is someone who's ready for action. So it really feels like there's something that you're not quite aware of, or you haven't quite figured out, before you can fully just throw yourself all in, or even more if you've already begun. So I'll leave that there. And with the Hanged Man, it is very much about you, excuse me, needing to kind of figure it out for yourself very organically. It is one of those things where, to be frank, if you got a reading about it, it's not certain if it would even tell you. It's like, you know, and the High Priestess comes up and it's, you already know, and it's like, what the, stop telling me I already know. If I already knew, I wouldn't be asking for a reading. I get it, I do get that. But yeah. Let's look at the Six of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. That is kind of like your advice moving forward. Excuse me. So there might be something relevant towards the past, about contemplating something from the past with that Six of Cups. And then you've got the Six of Pentacles. I mean, that is the card of generosity, give and take. So there might be something about how you give, or how you share, or the giving, and the whole giving and receiving. And I'm getting the word compensation. It could be compensation in terms of how your beliefs, because the Hanged Man can be beliefs as well, about your beliefs about how you compensated. Like, one of the questions I would say is, what do you think you're worth? And I don't mean that in terms of personal worth. I mean, like, well, yeah, it can be that too, actually. What do you think you're worth? Like, how is your sense of self-worth? Like, how valuable do you feel you are? I mean, we are all very valuable, but how do you feel about that? But let's look at that Six of Cups and Six of Pentacles a bit more. So your sense of self-worth could be very, very important in 2024, or there might be a development there that really helps you out and helps you overcome some challenges. So we've got the Lovers there, we've got the Fool, we've got the Ace of Wands, okay, the Tower, Nine of Cups, wow, Four of Pentacles, that is a lot of cards actually. So I'm getting that question about deserving as well. I mean, that does come in with self-worth, doesn't it? Because it's, what do you feel you deserve? Have you in the past felt that spark for something? And I think we have all done this, haven't we? Most of us, where you felt that spark for something that you felt really connected to, you felt you love it, whether it is a person, path, thing, whatever. You've been ready to go all in. And sometimes this can be where you try it and it kind of doesn't turn out the way you want, or it doesn't move quickly enough, and then you lose the spark and it falls apart. Or there's another person, or there's another thing or person involved that doesn't share the same level of enthusiasm as you, and then it kind of falls apart, and it kind of makes you doubt if you can achieve the happiness you want. That's what's coming to mind here. I mean, the Four of Pentacles here feels quite cautious in a way. Let's look at that Tower on its own. How open are you willing to be? And how much are you willing to give to get whatever you want? Is there anything you're holding back in a way? Are you kind of holding back? Do you feel like you've made a mistake by going into, what's the word, like full force on something before and it didn't turn out right, so now you're a bit more cautious? That's one possibility, and that would be something that would knock your confidence as well. So you've got that card of independence there with that Nine of Pentacles, haven't you? Okay, well, one thing I would say, it is advice. Don't be afraid that these two cards, the Six of Cups and Six of Pentacles, don't be afraid to kind of keep going, and if you go ahead, you fail, try again. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Like, don't feel that you have to. I mean, yes, be cautious going forward, but not overly cautious to the point where it does hold you back. Because the Eight of Cups, it's where you kind of recognize that. That's where you kind of recognize that something's not satisfying, but you can still try again, try something different, try again, try doing it in a different way. Trust in yourself that you have the resources you need to move forward, and you will. If something fails, there is something to be learned from that, because I've said about the King of Cups quite often now that the King of Cups, it's emotional mastery, it's emotional maturity, emotional resilience, emotional intelligence, and there's that to be gained. Even if the situation itself doesn't work out exactly as you want it, you have that to gain from it. You gain some degree of maturity from it. Right, so we'll move on from that. So yeah, don't be afraid to still give, and even in relationships as well. And I've said this probably loads of times now, that even in relationships, if one fails, if you get treated badly, nobody's justifying the person or the behavior that the way you were treated, but you don't have to become bitter over it. You can still learn what you can from it, move forward, and still be open and willing to give. You don't have to, yeah, you don't have to let it make you become bitter. So let's move on to that final row here. So this is where you're heading. This is literally the prediction, if you want to call it that, potential for 2024 of where you could be heading. So we've got that Queen of Cups. I mean, I would say that's something to do with emotional expression. You might be more emotionally expressive in 2024, and that could help you in a bunch of ways. It could relate to a specific event. It could just be an ongoing theme where you are more emotionally expressive in 2024. It could create a major turning point, or there could be a major turning point in that sense. So Queen of Cups. You might also be more empathic as well, whether it means empathic in the, like, literally spiritually, and you use that in a certain way, or just in general. Because when you go through certain experiences and then you develop more compassion for yourself, and if you have to forgive yourself for anything, and you kind of have that free-spirited energy of, you know, and you just accept people for who they are, and that's usually because you've already accepted yourself for who you are, haven't you? It does make you more empathic and more expressive as well, doesn't it? So Queen of Cups, please. This represents you, 2024, whether you are a man or a woman. And the Ace of Swords is a huge card of expression, isn't it? And beliefs, it's expression. You got the Ten of Pentacles there. Let's see what follows on from that Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, this is going to be a theme, isn't it? This card getting knocked out by the other cards. You have the Nine of Wands, but it's in reverse. That Nine of Wands, not Nine of Swords. It feels like what you've been through. Okay, well, Five of Pentacles. I mean, that is something that you would. I don't feel this is a prediction. The Five of Pentacles on its own, I feel that's what you've been through next to that Nine of Wands. It is the Still Standing card. I know it's in reverse. So let's have a look. I'm getting turned around. Okay, as in, like, you know, where you turn things around. So like if you've been through that Five of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups would be where you have looked at those different perspectives of things. Okay, it follows on from what I said about that King of Cups, doesn't it? It's where you've looked at the different perspectives of things. You've assessed what works for you, what doesn't work for you, how you feel. You've probably gained some emotional maturity from it, and you've turned things around, or you have the potential to now turn things around. Nine of Wands in reverse. Let's look at that on its own, please. I need to just put some blue tack on it, don't I, to keep it on there, because it's going to keep, yeah. So, I mean, the Judgment card, it's reviewing the past and it's second chances. So, as I say, that's where you can express more, because you know what you've been through, and you know how to turn things around, or you know that you have the power to turn things around. Let's just have a look at that Ten of Pentacles. I mean, that for me would be about, because you express more, in whatever capacity that is, you may be able to create more stability, whether it's that you now have some empathic gift or something, or creativity, that you express yourself more in that and you're able to create more abundance, or it's just that because your emotions help you to be more authentic, don't they? So then you create a greater sense of abundance and stability in that sense. It can be financial, but it's just more the stability in general, that because it's authentic, it's more of a solid foundation, isn't it? Let's have a look at the Ten of Pentacles on its own. Wow, Ten of Cups, yeah, it's stability, it's fulfillment, it's just that whole authenticity. I mean, the Ace of Swords is a card of authenticity as well, isn't it? So let's take those away. So you in 2024, as I say, the future's not set in stone, it's potential. You have the potential to be a lot more expressive, more empathetic, and it's partly because of what you've been through and using that to help you on your path. So we've got the Magician and the Knight of Pentacles. That's what you need to know for 2024. I mean, that's personal power, isn't it? It's empowerment with the Magician. Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is more to do with what you commit to, or your ability to commit to something and see it through. But with the Magician, it's by choice, isn't it? It's not that you've just been, something's been picked by default. You know, like if you're someone that always ends up in jobs by default or relationships by default, you know, like in jobs, I mean, obviously we have to make money, we have to survive. But I think you do get to a point in, I mean, some people are absolutely fine. Like their main priority is, look, as long as I've got money to pay my bills, I don't give a shit what job I'm doing, and that's fine. Other people want real creative and emotional connection with their job, don't they? So for them, the money just doesn't cut it. And obviously it's your choice, you know, there's no wrong or right. It's whatever is your main priority. If your main priority is just to have the money, and as long as nobody's getting hurt in the work that you do, cool. If you want more emotional fulfillment from it, then yeah, you're gonna need to be more authentic, because that feeling is gonna eat away at you if you're just doing a job for the money, and you know, and you feel that emotional, it's draining to you, isn't it? It can become draining if you feel like you're doing something that you hate. It has an impact, and you are going to need to feel like you have the power to choose something that is more in alignment with you. So let's look at the Magician and the Knight of Pentacles. And you've got the two truths there with the Two of Swords, which we'll look at that on its own as well. That will be your advice. So Magician, Five of Wands. I mean, the Five of Wands can be about conflict, competition, but in reverse, it's where you would become aware of what doesn't feel right. It's like a battle that you don't want to fight. And I think, what was I going to say about relationships as well? Getting into relationships by default. You know, if you are someone who previously I mean, it can be different reasons. It can be where you lack confidence. So anybody that wants to go on a date with you is like, yeah, I've got to give them a chance because the pickings are slim, or whatever you want to call it. That sounds bad, doesn't it? That can be a reason. What else? Sometimes it can be just that you're the kind of person that you are willing to give everyone a chance. But then the problem with that is, the longer you let things go on, if you do that, but you're also not assertive, you can end up staying in relationships a lot longer than you want to, because you give the person a chance, but then your feelings don't grow, and then it's like, shit, now I've got to kind of extricate myself from this situation, and yeah, it's not nice breaking up with anyone, is it? So yeah. But let's have a look. It is disempowering to you as well, though, if you're kind of sticking it out. I mean, obviously you don't want to hurt people's feelings, but if you're sticking it out just to avoid hurting their feelings, it's disempowering for you, and it is disempowering for them as well when you think about it, because you're kind of stringing them along in a way. And I think a lot of us have been on both sides. Well, I don't know. I think some of us have been on both sides, I'll say. The ones where we've been breadcrumbed, and the one where we've kind of breadcrumbed other people. And people's intentions are different. Some people do it just to be a selfish prick. And some people do it because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. But it's different for everyone. So I feel like that's got to be upright. So you've got the Magician, Three of Pentacles. It's choosing again. It's the power to choose what you want to work on, who you want to collaborate with, how you want to do it, rather than that default setting and disempowerment. So the Knight of Pentacles, that is probably the how. Like the Magician is choosing what you want to do. It is partly how as well, and honing your skills and everything. But the Knight of Pentacles, yeah, I'd say probably more so the Knight of Pentacles is the how, because that is that meticulous, step-by-step, taking the necessary steps kind of energy. And there was something else that came up there. And I think it was more about honing your skills and learning, that you can continue to learn as well. In whatever situation you're in, whether it is you're practically learning something, just emotionally, mentally, just life lessons in general. Anything else for that Magician and Knight of Pentacles, please? So you have the Seven of Swords, So the one thing I would say, one thing that you would be learning and committing to is being really honest with yourself about what you do and what you don't want. So again, I've mentioned default quite a few times, where you end up in situations or choosing a particular path or relationship or whatever by default. It's learning more about how to not do that, basically. To know that whatever you choose, whatever seed you choose, whatever path you choose, It's you get to decide, you get to follow what your wishes, what your heart's desire is, and have faith in that. Don't sort of feel like, oh well, I got to choose this by default because there's literally no other way. And it can be hard because sometimes you do have to sacrifice for a certain amount of time where you don't get exactly what you want, but it's knowing that you do have the power to choose. So I'll leave that there and we'll look at that Two of Swords. And to be frank, I mean, the Two of Swords is advice. I'd say that is probably again about not going down the default route, because then you do end up with two truths. So the one side is that you don't want it, but the other truth is that you feel obligated to it. So Two of Swords, please. Yep, King of Wands, I mean, he's in pretty much in reverse. That's where your power's been taken away. Because the King of Wands, he does what he wants, doesn't he? He goes for it. And in reverse, it's where you held back. Queen of Wands. This is upright. This is where she does get what she wants. It's that fire energy. Anything else? So you've already got your two truths there. King of Wands in reverse, disempowered. Queen of Wands, upright, empowered. And it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman here for this. It's the energies. And the interesting thing is the Queen of Wands, she decides what she wants and then somehow she attracts it to her. The King of Wands, he's the next progression from the Queen of Wands. That's where he literally takes the action. And it's interesting because the one that takes the action is the one that is in reverse. So that really is being disempowered there. It's like you kind of know what you want, but you don't do anything about it or can't do anything about it. So kind of like the way that's come out to make that point. So the advice is to don't allow yourself to be disempowered. Be very open and honest with yourself and see the true potential in things. Shockingly, it didn't take that down, did it? Right, the Fool, yeah. I mean, that's been willing to take a risk. The World. The World is like choosing the new cycle, the new beginning. And I'd say the Two of Swords at the end there, again, it's being discerning about what is your real truth, what is the most important in making your decision. What's the most important thing to you? What do you value most? So I'll leave that there. I'm just going to get one final message for you for 2024. Hopefully you found that helpful. Group 1, deck 1. I quite like this way of reading, actually. Well, so far, to be honest. It's a bit different. I'll tell you, I don't know if I'll tell the other decks. I was thinking about pick a card for each individual sign, and then I thought, do I really want to do 36 videos in a short period of time? And I was like, it's not going to work. It's just going to be draining. Yeah, and I thought sometimes it's nice to have an openness to picking up the energies with the pick a card readings. So yeah, but let's get your final message for 2024. Group 1 air signs or deck 1 air signs for 2024. What do you need to know? So as I said, overall, there might be something about needing to forgive yourself. It's looking like, or being more empathetic. You will probably become more empathetic and compassionate and expressive emotionally for 2024, and don't get trapped by default. Know that you have the power to choose. But it does look, as I said, it looks like there's something in the present that you haven't quite figured out yet. Anyway, final message for Group 1 air signs for 2024. What do they need to know, please? Anything else? Anything else that air signs need to know in this group for 2024? Anything at all? There we go. You've got one. Right, so you have, if you can see that, yeah. Dearest you, we know everything in the universe is perfect even in its flaws, and we view the creations of spirit in total awe. All is unique, yet part of a unity of existence. But the human experience is a little different from ours. You tend to have a specific standard for what you consider ideal, and this isn't serving you right now. So forget your idea of perfection and see through our eyes, allowing things to be as they are, without judgment. Don't wait until a perfect moment or mood to start something. Sorry, don't wait until a perfect moment or mood to start some. Okay, that kind of doesn't make sense, but okay, something. Instead, enter life with all its flawsomeness. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Let others be who they are, imperfect and human, complex or simple. It doesn't matter, for there is always something to discover, experience and love. When you drop the need for an ideal, you uncover the real treasure, which will be far more interesting and valuable. Loving you like crazy. I actually like that. I think it does kind of go with everything, or it does go with what I've said so far. But thank you for watching Group 1 Air Signs. Feel free to like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. But have a happy, blessed 2024. Take care. Welcome back, Group 2 or Pile 2. Those of you who chose this deck. So just a little side note, if you can see any white powder on the table, it is purely innocent. It's corn flour. I had to powder one of the decks from the previous reading because it had been really sticky for a while. So again, these messages are for anyone whose sun, moon or rising sign is Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. What else did I want to say? It's what you need to know for 2024. Whatever messages you need to know for 2024. So it could be an important event, an important theme in 2024, or a particular turning point, and this could happen at any time during 2024. Feel free to watch, I'll repeat again, if your sun, moon or rising sign is a fire sign, earth sign or water sign, feel free to watch those as well. Thank you very much to everyone who likes, shares, comments on the video, subscribes to the channel. It's all appreciated. And if you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. But we're going to get on with it for you. So that's your deck for your for the main spread. And we're going to start off with a message from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. So we'll get about like 3 messages out for Group 2, Deck 2 air signs for 2024. So what does this group of air signs need to know for 2024, please? What does this group of air signs need to know for 2024, please? Anything at all? Doesn't look like it. Anything for this group of air signs, please? Right, I think there's 2 there, so I'll try and get you one more. So you've got, you are never alone, first of all. Otter Spirit and Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. That is a bit blurred, isn't it? There you go. God, so I am getting a message straight away for any of you that have the only word I can think is abandonment issues. I don't really want to say that because I don't know that much. Like, I haven't read up on abandonment issues, but that does come to mind with the 2 cards that have come up so far. Let's get you one more message. And it doesn't, wow, that was interesting. It doesn't necessarily mean in, I might look at both of those actually. It doesn't necessarily mean just in like romantic relationships. It can be, you know, like in life in general, where you feel like you're not supported. So it could be anything like maybe you feel you're not supported on your spiritual path, on your career path, in terms of your identity, who you are, anything like that, just anything in general. Maybe you feel like you don't have enough friends, or the friends that you have, it's not authentic. You might feel that you know, when people feel like they're the black sheep of the family, that sort of thing as well. It could be anything that's that comes to mind. So the other cards that you have are Watch Your Words, and you also have Let Spirit Be Your Guide. So, don't know what that piece of fluff is there. I'll put these here, and I'm going to get your spread out, your main spread now. So this is going to be a bit different from the other, the way that I usually do it. You know, I like to do things differently. So this is going to be like a 3x3, if that makes sense. Or it's probably going to be a lot more than 3x3, but 3 across, 3 down, all over, if that makes sense. You'll see what it means. So for Group 2, Deck 2 air signs, what do we need to know for 2024? So we're going to start off with like past energy first of all. So you've got the Nine of Cups there. You have the Sun and the Moon. And you know, I wish I'd said it before. I was going to say, this actually feels really good. But that doesn't mean the whole thing's going to be good. But I was going to say it feels good. And then you got the Nine of Cups and the Sun. Oh, and don't you just love when the Sun and the Moon come out together? Because usually that can refer to something that was hidden coming out, the truth coming out or something. Or could be the truth about anything that someone else has told you, the truth about yourself, truth about your path, something like that. So what else? What else do we need to know for Group 2, Deck 2? Right, you've got the Magician. Okay, so second row is like the where you so this row, the past energy, is where you've been, where you've come from, what you've been through. The middle row is current, present energy, so that's where you are now, where you stand now. You have the King of Wands and the Four of Cups in reverse. Do they need to be in reverse? I'm actually not sure they need to be in reverse. I'm going to leave them that way because that's the way they came out, and then the clarifiers, I will be clarifying those. I'm not going to clarify every single card that comes out because, yeah, there's going to be a lot, but anything where it's not clear, I will clarify. So, next. That is giving a bit of a limbo vibe, actually, for the present energy. You've got the Queen of Cups there. And finally, this is like the future stuff. This is the potential. As I always say, the future is not set in stone. So this is literally the 2024 stuff. This is where you're heading, potential of what could happen, potentially where you're heading. So I don't know if I just said that the Four of Cups and the King of Wands felt a bit like limbo, to be honest. I might have said it and not remembered, which is entirely possible with me. So you've got the Three of Swords. Okay. And I know that does look scary for a 2024 card, but we'll see what else comes out with it. You've got the Two of Swords. One more. And you have the Seven of Swords in reverse, and it's probably, well, actually it depends. It depends. I was going to say it's probably better if it's in reverse, but not necessarily. It just depends on what else comes out here. So let's get your clarifying deck out. So you've got the Nine of Cups as the first card in the, as like the past energy. I mean, that can be a feeling, could have been a feeling of contentment, or it could be recognizing what makes you feel content, because, so this row is kind of like you, that specifically represents you. The middle is like what you need to know, what you need to be aware of within that particular phase or period of time. And then the final column is like the guidance, what you can learn or any guidance moving forward. So why is that Nine of Cups there, please? Nine of Cups, please. Nine of Cups in the past. So you've got the Five of Cups and the Page of Cups in reverse. Let's put them here. Anything else? We've got the Queen of Swords. That really does feel like more of a realization, to be honest. And it's sometimes the realization can give you a sense of satisfaction, can't it? When you know, like when you have a massive light bulb moment and it's like, shit, I get it now. And it's, yeah, and that can come in different, it can become in different situations, like where you kind of realize what you really connect to and what you really want. That can, you know, that can, the truth of that can give you a massive sense of satisfaction. Or where you sort of realize what's holding you back. That can be like a light bulb moment where it's like, you know, like when you do inner work and you're like, I get it, that's why that held me back, or that's what I have to address about that to move forward. So it can be stuff like that sometimes. Anything else? Okay, we'll leave it there. I feel like, are these reversed? Yeah, these are reversed as well. That's weird. King of Cups. I feel like it's a realization with that Nine of Cups. You've had like a very, it might have been a moment, it might have been a phase, a period of time where you felt very satisfied because you may have realized something. It's that Queen of Swords standing out for me. I mean, obviously the Five of Cups is usually where you've been hurt. It is in reverse. The Page of Cups can be about expression. So that potentially could be where you've realized that there's something, an emotion that you haven't acknowledged or expressed, or something about yourself that you haven't acknowledged or expressed, or something you've been through that you haven't fully recovered from. I mean, actually, yeah, because you've got the Four of Swords there in reverse, and that can be about recovery, healings, that sort of thing as well. That can relate to what's holding you back as well. So there's different ways it can go. Because upright it is about being like taking a pause, isn't it? But then when it's in reverse, that could be more to do with where you sort of realize what you need to do to come out of that, or where you know what you've got to do to come out of that. You've got the King of Cups in reverse, and so as I say, there's a few different ways for me of looking at the King of Cups, and it's interesting with that Page of Cups there, I mentioned expression. So we know that the King of Cups can be someone who has emotional, has mastery over his emotions, where he is, am I actually recording? Yes. Where he can be emotionally mature, emotionally intelligent, emotionally resilient. He can also be someone who's reserved with his emotions, like because he has that mastery, he is very much in control, like he won't just blurt anything out, he won't let his emotions control him. So in that sense, he can hold himself back. With it being in reverse, there's a couple of ways of looking at it. So one, it can be where you, again, in relation to that Page of Cups, where you finally realize what you haven't expressed or acknowledged emotionally. It could also be where you know that there's something that you need to become more, there's an emotion that you need to master, or some kind of emotional maturity that you need to gain. But as I say, because the Queen of Swords is there and she is about truth, it almost feels like that Nine of Cups is that kind of recognition, and it's like, I get it, this is what I need, this is either this is satisfying to me, figuring this out, or I know what I need to become satisfied. So I'll leave that there. And we will look at the Sun and the Moon, which is what you need to know about the situation. And as I say, it's like something that was hidden has come to light there with that energy. So it might just give us a repeat, to be frank. And the Magician, I would say the Magician, take that as what you've learned from the situation. I mean, you've got that Reclaim Your Power card there, and the Magician can be connected to like personal power, empowerment. If it's in reverse, it could be disempowerment. It's capability, it's about using the tool, so it's like development as well, isn't it, and honing your skills. So it can be just learning that you have the power to progress, develop, learn from whatever you've been through. But let's look at the Sun and the Moon first of all. So I feel like these need to be upright. So you've got the Four of Cups, the Nine of Swords, Four of Pentacles. God, those are really isolated energies. So I know you've got that You Are Never Alone card. So I don't know if here you've had to face something where you have literally felt very alone and unsupported, and you've had to just take care of yourself completely. You've got that Watch Your Words card there. So I don't know if that potentially feeling that way could have had an impact on how you interacted with people. There's the possibility that you could have been quite defensive. I mean, you've got the Ten of Wands on the bottom, where if you are feeling quite burdened, you can kind of be a bit more harsh towards people. You could be aloof towards them. you know, if you sort of snap at anyone, if you feel, if you're just feeling like shit, you can snap, can't you? I mean, it's not nice, but it happens. Let's get something else for that. But yeah, there's a very isolated feeling of struggle from that. Anything? Okay. Do I want to take those? Yeah, I am going to take them. Oh God, that's too many. Actually, no, I'm going to try again because that's too many. I thought it was only like 3 down here and then this one, but no, that's too many. That's quite a lot of cards. Let's try that again. What else do I need to know about that sun and moon card coming out, please? Well, that's a card of independence, isn't it? So, I mean, that could be something about having, again, feeling you got to do it all by yourself. But as I say, there's a realization here. I mean, maybe it is where you've realized that the people around you can't support you, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't necessarily mean that they're horrible people and they just don't give a shit. Sometimes it can be, depending on the situation, that the people around you just don't have the capacity, like they can't because they just can't. It's not through no fault of their own. It's sometimes it's just something that you really have to figure out by yourself on your own. And that's another thing as well, is you know, the opposite of that is sometimes where we always, it's kind of like we want someone else to kind of give us the advice and tell us what we should be doing, like to be the voice of reason for us. And it's sometimes you get to a point in life where it's like, well, it can't, it has to be you, it has to be you that makes the decision and comes to the conclusion, like no one else can tell you this. Like if you were choosing a particular path, yes, you can ask people. Once you've chosen the path, you can ask people for advice, or you can speak to them as a sounding board to kind of help you figure it out. But it's like nobody can give you the answer. You've got to you just got to figure it out yourself, to be honest. And it can be stressful. It can be very stressful. Let's get one more for that. I mean, that magician, I did mention capability. But again, maybe that the capability is you being capable of figuring out your own path. That's something that comes to mind. You've got Let Spirit Be Your Guide as well. There too, you've got the Reclaim Your Power card and You Are Never Alone. So although you felt like you're alone, and yes, you have had to make a decision on your own, you know, spirit, whether spirit is spirit you consider to be your higher self, guides, guardians, God, whatever you believe in. You have that, but it's like in terms of physical people, you probably have had to do it alone for the most part. And then the Queen of Wands, as we've said a million times, it's like she shines her light, she knows what she wants. She would be the person that figures out what she wants on her own. She probably wouldn't consult anybody. It's just she knows. She knows what she does. She just feels what she desires and goes for it. So you may have kind of tapped into that, and that could have given you that sort of 9 of Cups energy. So I will quickly look at the Magician just out of curiosity, and then I'll move on. You might be the group that gets everything clarified like the other group. I didn't clarify every single card in theirs, but this one might be, I think this one, it might take everything. So we'll see. So the Magician. Why is the Magician? So this is kind of like advice. As I said, it's acknowledging your power and your capability, even if you feel stressed, which is what the 9 of Swords can represent, kind of stress. We've got the Star. I mean, this is hope and faith, isn't it? Like, even if you're going through that 9 of Swords energy, like anxiety, stress, sleepless nights, it's having the hope and faith, probably mainly in yourself, that you are capable of overcoming that. For some of you, you could have dealt with anxiety and any kind of mental health issues, whether it is severe mental health issues or you know, general depression, anxiety, stress, that kind of stuff. Maybe that is where the satisfaction came in. And the thing is, I was just thinking, you could have, for some people, if you have had counselling or therapy or something, you'd think, oh, but I haven't been through it on my own. But it's, to a certain degree, is still doing it. It's not literally doing it on your own, but you are relying on yourself first and foremost. Because as I've said before, even if you go to counselling, the attitude I've had when I've gone to counselling, I'm not saying I'm right or wrong or whatever, I'm just saying how I've done it is, whenever I've had counselling, which I have because I have experienced anxiety and depression before, is that I've never gone in there expecting, right, this person's going to fix me. It's always been, right, I'm going to go there, I'm going to speak with this person, and they are going to assist me in figuring out how to help myself. They may give me tools, they may make me more aware of something or some things, but ultimately it's me. I've got to figure it out. They can only be assistants. And I've looked up, I had to, after working as a support worker and my experiences in that and just life in general, I had to look up the word support, what support means, because I needed to, it's like, you know what it means, but you know, when you start to think differently, you're like, let me just check what that word means. And the first definition that came up for support, one of the first definitions was, it was something about weight bearing or bearing the burden. And I thought, oh, that's not what I thought support was. I thought support was about encouraging and assisting people, not bearing their burdens for them. So that kind of changed the game for me quite a lot. I mean, I already, as I say, whenever I've been to counselling previously, I have gone in there not thinking someone was going to fix me. But when you look up that word support and you see the different meanings, it for me, it was a game changer, because I was the one taking on the role of support. And I thought, yeah, I'm not here to bear the burdens, I'm here to assist. But anyway, take that how you will. So let's see what else comes out for that Magician card. Try that again. And obviously I would say it depends on situations, because there probably are situations in life where if you are supporting someone, you could very well end up bearing the burden. Like, say, if you had a sick child, 100% you're going to bear the burden. It's a child, like they are a dependent, aren't they? They're not a grown adult who's fully capable of taking care of themselves and taking advantage of you. They literally need you to do that. So it depends. But general day-to-day life with grown adults who are capable of making their own decisions, yeah, it shouldn't be about necessarily bearing their burdens. And that's general situations. Obviously there might be more extreme situations where, yeah, you are literally someone's rock, but it depends. So let's see what else comes up. So I've got the Five of Cups and the Battered. Yeah, if you haven't already seen the story of the Queen of Wands, it's on the community page where I say how she ended up like this. But right, so you've got the Five of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Yeah, it's about having faith in yourself, having faith in your personal power, your ability, being able to put yourself out there and do you, basically. So we'll leave that there with the Magician. So that's all past energy, and what you can learn from that is your capability. Whatever's gone on, it's learning your capability. So let's now look at the King of Wands and Four of Cups, and that's kind of your energy in the present, literally where you stand now. And did I say limbo? I believe I did say limbo, because the King of Wands, he is someone who takes action on his desires. And this doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. They take action on their desires. In reverse, it's like he's not able to do it or can't do it for whatever reason. So in the present, you may be held back from something. There may be something in terms of your personal power where you're held back. You've got the Four of Cups in reverse as well. The Four of Cups can often be about rejection. It can be apathy, disappointment. I'd say you might want to come out of this energy with it being in reverse, but let's clarify and see what else comes out for that. So this can be your life in general. It can be a specific situation that you could be applying it to, where you feel kind of held back. So you have the Strength card. Wow. So you've got two Leo cards there already with Strength and the King of Wands. And the Sun as well, actually. You've got quite a bit of Leo energy. So you may have... Leo may be your Sun, Moon or Rising sign. So anything else? So you've got the Hanged Man and you have the World. So I might look at that Hanged Man on its own, actually. That's a strange one. The World is wanting to go into a new cycle, whatever that is, whether it is a new direction in life in general, a new path, a new career, a new way of life, living in a new place, a new relationship. There's something new. And you could be on the cusp of that. You could be stepping into that, but you kind of feel a bit, maybe you don't feel powerful in it. Let's get one more. Yeah, that kept happening. This Queen of Wands keeps on coming out, doesn't she? Big time. What's that? I'm going to have to take it up right now because I'm not sure if it was reversed or not. Ace of Wands and Queen of Wands. Okay. The first thought I had when that Three of Swords came out was fear of disappointment or being hurt, possibly. It's like I can see desire there. You've got the King, you've got the Queen of Wands I'm talking about, and the Ace of Wands, but there could be a bit of a fear of disappointment or being hurt, because I can see the spark is there. Even with the World there, that's like a spark of wanting to do something. You've got the Hanged Man. Let's have a look at that on its own. I mean, I actually said limbo, didn't I? And the Hanged Man came out, so it's about coming out of limbo. You might have a desire to come out of limbo. Is there anything else that can help us with that Hanged Man through support? Support. You might be trying to figure out where to get the right kind of support, or that you need support in general to get yourself unstuck. Excuse me. The Queen of Cups, I consider I mean, all of the court cards in their own way can be supportive. The Queen of Cups is probably more on the more emotional side of supportive, and she is with the Three of Cups as well. Could also be something spiritual here as well, like if you're pursuing a certain spiritual path and sort of needing that guidance or mentor to help you. Although it does say let spirit be your guide, and she can represent intuition as well. And for me as well, the Four of Cups, you've got the Three Cups there, so that can represent something to do with support as well, or needing support, or wanting support, whether it is that you do genuinely need it or how you need it. Anything else? King of Cups, I feel like he's meant to be upright. I know he flipped weird, but that is another very supportive person. And they, again, I think the King of Cups, even more so than the Queen of Cups, could be seen to be as a mentor, spiritual guide, counselor, therapist. Getting over a bit of a bug, so my throat's still a bit messed up. He can be connected to like HR, guidance, that sort of thing. Let's get one more for that. I would say you probably need spiritual or emotional support more than anything in whatever you're doing. Again, the decisions are still ultimately up to you, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting emotional support and guidance. So we've got the Eight of Wands. So yeah, you may feel that you want to communicate, or deciding who you can communicate with for the support. It could also be about you feel like that's needed for you to help you to progress. Right. Yeah. So the Knight of Cups, it's your dream, isn't it? It's the dream. It's whatever your heart desires. You've got the Eight of Cups in reverse there, and that's a funny one for me. I know that upright it would be where you're kind of able to move on and go off on your journey. So in reverse, again, it could be that kind of limbo, delayed energy where it's like, I'm almost getting, the thought, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I'm kind of getting that from this card. So whatever you're trying to do and you want to move forward, and you might feel like it is like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or something to that effect. And you've got the sun. Is it an eclipse or this? I mean, the sun and moon are here, so it's kind of like an eclipse, isn't it? Where you've got the sun and the moon here too. Right, I'm going to leave that there, and we'll look at the Star card. So your energy in the present, as I say, it's just a bit of a limbo vibe, and you may be feeling like you need spiritual or emotional support to kind of do what you want to do. So the Star there, that's what you need to know or be aware of in the situation. I mean, that can refer to that whole spiritual connection, spiritual guidance. I always see it as like, I know she's got one hand pointing towards water and one point towards the sky, but it feels like the heavens and the earth to me. Can be spiritual connection, hope, faith, that sort of thing. So let's look at the Star, please. Queen of Cups is there again, isn't she, as well? So the Star, why is the Star here, please? Support again. Okay, somebody really needs support, and you are never alone there, aren't you? And again, I reiterate, it really seems like it's more along the lines of spiritual or emotional support. You've got the Ten of Swords there. I'm getting completion, the word completion with that Ten of Swords. So if you feel there's something that you need to complete in order to move forward, and that is part of the limbo you're experiencing, emotional support could be very, which way was that? That way. Could be very relevant for that. Again, in terms of counselling, sometimes people need counselling to lay things to rest, don't they? So that they can move on with their life. That's something that's coming to mind. Temperance, again, that's a card of spiritual connection to me. This could really be very much about somebody's spiritual path or the role that spirituality plays in their life. Wow, you got the Hierophant now. Interesting. The Ace of Pentacles. Am I going to take all of them? Yeah, might as well. So you got the Queen of Cups again and the Two of Swords. Again, that feels like that support needed to make a decision with the Queen of Cups and the Two of Swords. I would say the Hierophant here, it probably feels more like spiritual guidance. You know, sometimes for me, it's about the rules and regulations and traditions that hold you back, or, you know, that sort of thing. But here it feels more like support. You could be stepping more into your power spiritually, whether it is just as an individual or something that you want to share, because the Ace of Pentacles is an opportunity. It feels like this could be partly with that Five of Cups being there. Because when did that fall out? Did that fall out? It probably should have been here, actually, in between Temperance and the Hierophant. For me, sometimes when this kind of card comes up with the spiritual connection and guidance and all that and teaching, it can be where you share your story and you lead by example with that. So that's another way of looking at it. Overall for the Star, I mean, it is a card of faith, hope. Again, I'm getting that spiritual connection vibe. The emotional support, spiritual support thing is still there, but it could also be, as I say, it could be about you sharing your, or a need for you to share your story too, and that will be supportive to others as well. And maybe doing that helps to bring people towards you that can support you too, funnily enough. So we'll leave that there. And we will look at that Queen of Cups. And that is your guidance. Do you need to be the Queen of Cups somehow? Let's see what comes out. And not just for others, but for yourself. Like if you're looking for someone to kind of nurture you, not there's anything wrong with that, you know. But is it more about, it's like the universe is kind of saying to you, well, you have to look to yourself, to nurture yourself first before anybody else can kind of come in and do that in a way. So Queen of Cups, please. Why is she there? Ace of Cups for me is often about self-love, self-care. And it's not to say that you're not already doing some of this, but it's in different layers and levels and aspects, isn't it? And then, as I've said in a previous reading before, and I've got no idea which one because I've done a lot of readings. What was I going to say? I know for myself that this whole self-love thing, that I did kind of learn that a long time ago, but it's like, it's infinite. Like every time I thought, oh yeah, I love myself now and I know what that means. It's like, no, there's more levels to it. It's like, it's never going to end. It's infinite learning in terms of how you can provide self-love and self-care for yourself. So, excuse me, you've got the King of Swords there. I mean, that can be connected to learning as well in a way, kind of. I mean, it's what you know, but it's what you can learn too. You've got the Seven of Pentacles and the Six of Wands there. The King of Swords can be expression as well. So that whole thing that I said about maybe sharing your story will help you to get support as well. And then, yeah, you've got two cards here. The Queen of Wands and the Six of Wands are cards of being seen and putting yourself out there. I mean, there can be an element of being respected with this as well. You've got the Seven of Pentacles, which is the card that asks, is it worth the time and effort? If there is anything where you want to express yourself, emotionally, verbally, and there's something about that feels to you like a form of self-love and self-care, it's kind of a go for it kind of energy, whatever that means for you, whether it is literally therapy or people that you're close to that you want to share parts of yourself. Like maybe you do suffer from depression or anxiety and you've not properly told the people that are around you that care about you that, like, you haven't expressed it. Maybe your behaviour's been out of character and you haven't told them and they don't know what the hell is going on. They think you've got PMS or something if you're a woman, or if you're a man, something else is going on, and they think, I don't know, people just think you're being weird and they don't get what's going on. Maybe it's time for you to open up and share that if you want to. It's your choice. Or it may be something more public, on a public forum. Could be a YouTube channel, could be a blog, anything like that, where there's just something about that might be helpful to you. So that is the present energy. So as I say, there's a bit of limbo here, but there's still that need for support and spiritual connection, emotional support, and there's something where you may need to share as well. I would say with that watch your words card there as well, like, be authentic but be tactful as well, whatever that means for you. So let's look at the future energy. So the 2024, what do you need to know specifically now? So the purpose of looking at the past and present energies is to sort of show this progression, isn't it, and the story of where you've been and where you're heading. So 3 of Swords. Why is the 3 of Swords there? That's your specific energy. So you've got Death, you've got the Hanged Man. Right, so whenever I see Death and the Hanged Man together, that can potentially be a spiritual awakening. Those are a couple of the cards for me that together, and maybe with a couple of other cards as well, could represent spiritual awakening. And to be frank, if it's clarifying the 3 of Swords, awakenings can be painful. So that wouldn't surprise me. I don't like I'd never attempt or intend to predict a literal death, and I don't want to scare people. But that, with the 3 of Swords and the Death card being there, I really don't like bringing those energies up, because I don't intend to predict that kind of stuff. And I think for the most part, if I'd ever bring up literal death in a reading, it's something that someone's aware of. So if somebody was terminally ill, it's like, you already know that's going to happen. I don't want to scare people with that, but that is coming to mind. And it could be something that you've already experienced, possibly, because sometimes it can be about reflecting on the death of someone who's been gone for a very long time. But as I say, the key thing that comes to mind here is spiritual awakening. And I'm not saying about you're going to die when I say literal death. It could be someone around you that's already passed away or something, or if you've got someone in your life who's terminally ill. That could be a reason why you need so much support if you're going through something like that. And I did mention, something about if somebody's sick in the beginning. But I'm not trying to predict any kind of death here, but that did come to mind as something, even if it is someone who's been gone ages ago, that kind of comes back to mind. And I've said before as well, in a few of the readings for December, when we get to this time of year, the end of the year, Christmas, that sort of stuff, people do tend to reflect on those who have loved ones who've gone, don't they? So that's quite normal. And the impact of that loss, like if you had a matriarch or a patriarch of the family who passed away earlier on in the year or something, and even longer ago than that, you will feel their loss, because sometimes those people are the glue of a family, aren't they? And but anyway, let's continue. It's not an energy I like to deal with, but I would only say it if it really, really is there, like there's something there saying, it's got to come out. Okay, so it could be more to do with an awakening, because you've got that Page of Swords, and that is like a learning energy. And I think when you do go through an awakening, you do become more open to learning, don't you? Like, you are able to look at all of the perspectives. You transform, you have the rebirth, you're able to look at all of the different perspectives. Or you look at all the different perspectives and you're more willing to learn, because you realise that you don't know everything. Are there people in the world who think that they know everything? Probably. Or they think they know a hell of a lot more than everyone else. Like on that, not just on the level of, I've got a PhD and I actually do know a lot more than everybody else on this particular subject. I mean, people that really are up their own arse, if that makes sense, to the point where they think that they're superior. That's not, I don't think that's a good energy to be in. But yeah, it's more you're willing to learn because you realize how little you know. And I think when we talk about awakenings and stuff, we often say it's about letting go, isn't it, and unlearning so that you can relearn, or shedding skin, shedding who you're not, so you can be who you are. But anyway, let's continue. So you might experience an awakening in 2024. It's not a nice energy to go through, spiritual awakening, but it's a funny one. It's worth it, but it doesn't feel like it at the time, obviously, because it is just, it doesn't feel nice. So anything else? I mean, you could even, if you haven't already started that process of awakening, you really could be feeling the cusp or verge of it now, to be honest. Or whatever you're experiencing at this point in time could be leading up to that. So you've got the Queen of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. So I'm going to get, I mean, when you do go through awakening, you do become a more authentic version of yourself. And I think you do probably get to a point where you're not afraid to show that version of yourself, which is what that Queen of Wands can represent. You've got the Eight of Pentacles there, which, I mean, that can be about doing the work, can't it? The inner work. And it affects the exterior of your life as well. Like, as much as you do the inner work, it's not just that you do the inner work and then that's it. Nothing at all changes. Like, your outer world changes as well. So let's look at the Queen of Wands too. We have the Page of Pentacles. There may be something, if you do go through an awakening in 2024, there could very well be something here where you kind of learn about how to connect with people in a different way, or how to collaborate. There could be something in terms of community. This can sometimes be about mind, body, and spirit as well. But there's something here where there may be a strong connection between your authenticity, new ways of doing things, and how you connect with others. Let's look at the Eight of Pentacles. So you've got the Seven of Wands. You could very well, part of the inner work could be learning about what you stand for and what you want to stand up for, with that Seven of Wands being there. Your truth, you've got the Knight of Swords and the Eight of Swords, and it is given a bit of that truth will set you free vibe. I mean, this can be the truth that you're standing up for. And remember I said about shedding skin, shedding old skin, and letting go of old patterns so that you can become who you are. That can be that energy as well. So although Three of Swords, yes, it can be painful, and I'm going more along the lines of potential awakening with this, or even if it's that you go through a painful experience, whatever that may be, even relationship, it can be relationship related stuff as well. There's a lot to learn here, and it's something where it has the potential to allow you to be a more authentic version of yourself, or to discover something more about who you are, to be honest. I mean, you've still got that reclaim your power card there with the Queen of Wands. You definitely do reclaim your power when you go through through an awakening. It's like it can take you to the lowest point, but then if you're able to get through that, the power that you come back with from that, it's amazing. So the Two of Swords, what you need to know about the situation. Again, we're looking at specifically 2024 now. So the Two of Swords, as we often say, it can be about two truths. It can be about decisions as well. You could be learning more about making decisions for yourself. If, as I say, you've gotten a lot of cards to do with support and feeling that you need emotional support to make decisions, which is not a problem with that. But as I say, ultimately it's up to you, isn't it, what you choose? So why's the Two of Swords there, please? The High Priestess, intuition. You might tap into your intuition more, or need to tap into your intuition more. I mean, judgment, what's that about? It's about reviewing the past and making decisions, like second chances, that sort of thing. Again, that card of what do you stand for and what do you want to stand up for, that is something that teaches you how to or helps you in making decisions. If you know what you stand for and what you want to stand up for, that helps. Because if you've got two options, I mean, sometimes it can be that the options are very, very similar and that doesn't help, doesn't it? Does it? But if you really know who you are, then it should help. Anything else? Anything else for the Two of Swords? We have the Fool. There is a sense of liberation there and a sense of fearlessness as well. You know, like if you're someone who, when it comes to making decisions, you just don't want to mess it up and it scares you a little bit. You just have this fear of messing it up. It's like by learning who you are, more about who you are and what you stand for and tapping into your intuition more, there's more of a fearlessness with your decisions. You know, like that energy where it's like, oh, well, even if I choose this and it goes wrong, you've still got that magician up there. I know that I have the power to turn things around, to do things differently, to start again. It's that kind of energy. It's a bit of a fearlessness, more free-spirited energy in your approach to decision making, possibly. And then we've got the Seven of Swords. So the two ways of looking at that are, so you've got the whole thing of the Seven of Swords being about taking a risk. This is guidance, moving forward. It could be kind of warning, well, not warning you, advising you not to be afraid to take a risk. I mean, obviously, like, think about it and consider all the perspectives first. But don't be as afraid to take a risk. It can also be about me being more honest with yourself. Again, that whole authenticity thing. But let's see what comes out. So in terms of advice for 2024 for Group 2, Deck 2. Why is the Seven of Swords here in reverse, please? So you've got the Six of Pentacles. It feels like it needs to be upright, to be honest. It does feel like it needs to be upright. Okay, so I'm going to take that upright. Anything else? Page of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, I think it's probably more the risk factor. I'll still say it's got the element of being truthful and honest with yourself about what you really want and trusting in yourself as well. But oh well, that's the trusting in yourself part. But yeah, it's still about being willing. Don't be so afraid to take risks, because you've got the Six of Pentacles, which is about giving. It is a card of giving, generosity. Nine of Cups, giving to what makes you feel satisfied. You've got the Page of Pentacles, so that to me says don't be afraid to start again. If you've been in a situation and you are in limbo or you're stuck or whatever, or you need to let anything go, don't be afraid to start again. If something feels disappointing, if something does feel disappointing, don't be afraid to sort of let go and start again. And there was something else coming up with that and I can't remember what it is. I think there's something about the whole decision-making process as well. Again, don't be afraid of making the wrong decision. Judgment is where you get a second chance, isn't it? So even if it goes wrong, because I feel like this person sitting here, I mean, it is often where they're like, it's usually where those options aren't satisfying. But it can feel, well, it does feel actually like someone where you've got different possibilities and you just don't want to choose the wrong one as well. That can come up sometimes. So I would say a big point of advice for 2024, be very honest with yourself about what you want, who you are, what you stand for, and don't be afraid to make the wrong choice. You have the power to turn things around, to change things. And yeah, some of you could be going through an awakening. Or if not an awakening, a sort of painful experience that kind of changes your perspectives on things and the way you make decisions. Or sometimes it can be that a situation, like say if it's not literal pain, it's more disappointment. It's like the power sometimes gets taken out of your hands, doesn't it? And you have to go in a different direction anyway. So we'll leave that there, and I'll get you a final card of advice from the Power of Love deck. So final advice for Group 2, Deck 2, 2024. What do they need to know? Deck 2 for 2024. Priorities. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. So again, the question, what do you stand for? What do you want to stand up for? Comes to mind with that one. Anything else? You have empathy. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. You may feel you need more empathy. I mean, I would say be empathetic in general anyway towards yourself and others, but you may feel that you need more empathy here. But you kind of have to give that to yourself and be able to offer it to others, and it kind of should come back to you. If you can't do it for yourself, then it's weird, isn't it, when you try and do something for other people that you can't even do for yourself. So be aware of that as well. Anything else? Let's just get one more. And you have integrity. Again, what do you stand for? You demonstrate, well, that's not what it says here, but that's how I'm interpreting it. You demonstrate the truth and honesty of your soul and manifest love with your every action. Again, that's that being really honest with yourself about what you want and who you are. So I will leave your reading there. Is there anything else I need to say? Just thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. But other than that, take care and have a happy and blessed 2024. So welcome back, group 3 or deck 3, those of you who chose this one. So again, reiterating that these messages are for anyone whose sun, moon or rising sign is an air sign. You may also, if your sun, moon or rising sign is a fire sign, earth sign, water sign, again, you're welcome to watch those videos as well. So again, this is for what you need to know for 2024. It might be an important event, a running theme, a turning point that could happen at any time during 2024. So I just want to thank everyone who watches, likes, shares, comments on the video, subscribe to the channel. It's all appreciated. If you'd like a personal reading, see the info in the description box on how to do that. But let's get on with your reading. So we're going to begin with a message from the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck first of all. So I'll get about 3 messages from that. 3 messages for what group 3 air signs need to know for 2024. So group 3 or deck 3 air signs, what do you need to know for 2024? Messages for group or deck 3 2024. Right, I'm going to take those 2 and then I will get one more actually. I don't trust what came out there. Yeah, that one. Okay. So you have, as you can see, I think it was simplicity. You have, if I can actually keep my grip on it, going forward. And you have protection. So those are 3 main messages. Let's get the tarot cards out for you. So this spread is a bit different from how I usually do it. It's 3 by 3. Or it will be 3 by 3. So we're going to have 3 cards for the past, 3 present, 3 cards for the present, and 3 for the future. So the point of looking at the past and present is just to see where you've been, where you are now, and where you may be heading in the future based on all of that. So, right. Let's get the past energies out first and foremost. Love that. You've got protection there, and then you have the 7 of Wands as the first card that comes out. So what else do we need to know for this past energy? The Sun, okay. Seven of Cups. Ooh, and you've got the simplicity card there. So yeah, has anything been confusing you in particular? But let's see. Let's look at the current or present energy. So that's like where you are now, where you stand now. So you've got the Tower and the Knight of Pentacles. That Knight of Pentacles is giving a vibe of simplicity as well. Like he's someone that's committed and takes the necessary steps, but he's going to want to do it in the most efficient way. So not overly complicated. Like he'll be meticulous, but not overcomplicate things. So anything else? Right, and I am going to take them. I usually wouldn't take that many, but I will take them. You've got the Lovers, the Eight of Cups, and Death. Bloody hell. Right, that's quite dramatic, that is. Let's put these up there, actually, make a bit more space, because it is a small table. I'm going to try that again. That did not feel right at all. So last one for the present current energy, where you stand. You have the Page of Cups, and let's look at the potential future energy for you. So you've got the Star. I mean, that is literally a hopeful card. It's hope and it's hopeful. Anything else? Page of Swords. Right, we've got the Eight of Wands. No, I'm getting a strong no on that, okay, on both of them, so I'll try that again. Right, final card for the potential future energies. Okay, and I feel like they need to be up, strangely, so we're going to take them up. We've got the Four of Cups, the Eight of Wands, and the Three of Wands. Right, so first of all, the past energy, so this is basically where you've been, where you're coming from, how you've gotten to the point you're at now. We've got the Seven of Wands. It feels kind of defensive, or like standing up for, I mean, the Seven of Wands is about standing up for something, isn't it? It's fighting for something. I am getting the song by Usher, My Way, and I don't even know it that well. Like, I'll know if I heard it, and I could, yeah, I don't know the lyrics actually, but yeah, with that Seven of Wands, I'm getting Usher, My Way. And I actually do really like Usher, so yeah, there are quite a few of his songs that I like, but it's just that one isn't like one that I know that well. So Seven of Wands, why is that there, please? My Way, Queen of Swords. I mean, she has her truth, she welcomes other truths, but she lives her life her way, doesn't she? So past energies, you would have had a point in time where it was very much about, yeah, I'm doing it my way, I would say. You've learned what your truth is, or you know what your truth is, and that's the standard you're living by. I mean, the Empress, it's a very self-empowered energy. Whether you are a man or a woman, that is a very self-empowered energy. You know who you are, you know what you stand for. Ten of Swords, why is that there? What do we need to know about that? Okay, yeah, so the self-love thing. I mean, for me, the Empress and the Ace of Cups just in themselves can represent self-love. So whatever's happened, I mean, I could be nosy and look at that Ten of Swords. Maybe you were stabbed in the back. Maybe you've been through painful experiences. Whatever's happened, you've gotten to a point where it's like, you probably definitely got to a point where you were standing up for yourself, and it's like, nah, my way. Whatever situation it's in, whether it's your life in general, in terms of relationships with family, friends, romantically, work situations, in terms of your beliefs, whatever it is, it's just this whole thing of, yep, doing it my way. So let's look at that Sun card. I would say that's things becoming clear, where things... Sorry, I keep hearing noises. It's like I'm the only person that is living in this flat and keep hearing noises. But anyway, the Sun... I mean, so this represents you specifically. This row is you specifically. This is what you need to know or be aware of within the situation. And this row is guidance for you, or what you can learn from that. So the Sun, I feel like it's illumination. It's been very clear. So again, whatever you stand for, or you want to stand up for, you've probably gotten to be very clear about that. So please show me the Sun. We will take them, 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords, because this could be what you've been through to get to that point. Any anxiety, any restrictions, feeling held back, would have led you to this point somehow of being very clear about what you do and don't want in life. Like, these may be things that have stressed you out and held you back, and you've gotten to a point, 9 of Pentacles, of independence. A strong sense of independence. There's confidence within this card as well. 5 of Swords. I mean, I don't think it's self-sabotage so much here, although I suppose with the 8 of Swords, that's where you kind of mentally restricted, and it's usually so it could be self-sabotage, but where any conflicts you've gotten involved with other people, or it can even be the shadow side of yourself as well with this 5 of Swords. You may have become very clear about that and sort of figured out how to use that, or wanting to use that to kind of reharmonize. I'm still not even sure if that's a word. I think it is, sort of reharmonize your life or aspects of your life. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there. It's just the clarity, isn't it, with the Sun. 7 of Cups. So I'd say, I mean, this is what you, in particular for the past energy, it's what you can learn from that, or what you have learned. And I would say you've learned to look at the different perspectives and become very clear about what you stand for. So that's very much a kind of, yeah, I know who I am energy, that you've looked at everything you've been through within a particular situation and established, yeah, who you are, what you stand for. But let's look at it quickly. The 7 of Cups, please. Justice. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I mean, I know it looks like it's partially in reverse, but I feel like it's meant to be upright. It's where you decide what's fair for you. Very strong energy with that 7 of Wands and Justice card, and that does feel like that protection, like protecting your values, protecting who you are, that sort of thing. So let's look now at the present or current energy. So where you are now, where you stand now with the Tower and the Knight of Pentacles. This is these cards here, as I said, that represents you. So you at the minute, the Tower, Knight of Pentacles, and it could be an energy where you're just willing to tear down anything that isn't honourable to you, because the Knight of Pentacles for me does have a tendency to feel like honour and integrity, and then with that 7 of Wands there as well and that Justice card, it does give strong vibes of honour and integrity. And then you've got the 8 of Cups there, which can be a card of not settling, simplicity. Like, for example, you know, if you've dealt with messy relationships and situationships in the past, there's with these cards and the cards that have come up, it's an energy of no, not dealing with that bullshit anymore. Anything where if I start to date a person and there's any ambiguity, nope, I'm out, peace out. It's that, giving that kind of energy. Or jobs, if you start a job, sorry, just bear with me, the battery has nearly gone, just bear with me. Right, sorry about that, group 3. I'm looking at the settings. I'm a bit concerned now because there's stuff on the screen and I've got no idea what it means. Just bear with me a minute. Okay, hopefully I haven't completely messed it up, because I don't want to have to refilm this. And it was, yeah, I didn't know if I was going to get the light to come back on then. But it looks okay. It's my fault. I should have been more aware of what the battery power was. But anyway, I've lost track of what I was saying. I said about not settling. Oh, job situations. If you went into a job situation and there's any kind of bloody ridiculous competitiveness, or if you go into a job and they're offering all sorts of benefits and they're selling it to be brilliant, but when you go in there it's a load of shit. Like, you can tell that they've blatantly lied to you about the whole their expectations of you, what you can expect, what's on offer, and you go in there and after like a week, a month, whatever, you're like, no, I'm not settling. This is clearly bullshit from the start. They were lying to me from the start. They sold me a dream. I'm out. So it's that kind of energy. Right, so we want to look at the Knight of Pentacles and the Tower. And I am still recording, aren't I? Yes. Okay. Knight of Pentacles and the Tower. Yeah, you want it simple. You don't want anything messy. Like that Five of Swords energy, that is messy energy. That is, I would say you don't want that. You just want to do what you got to do, be yourself, and protect yourself. A really, assertive, but there's another word as well, but I'd say assertive comes up here. So the Tower, Knight of Pentacles. So that might be a driving, I was going to say authenticity before as well, but I didn't say it. That might be quite a big driving force for you in 2024, that in 2023 you may have learned a lot about being assertive, and you probably used it in 2023, but it's like now you got to take it with you as you go ahead, which you would anyway. So Four of Cups, Ace of Swords, it speaks to me of authenticity. I know the Four of Cups is there, but it just, again, it's the energy of no bullshit. I'm not settling. I'm not putting up with any bullshit. I know who I am. I know what I stand for, and I'm going forward with that truth, and I'll use this sword to cut the bullshit out. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from that. You're not afraid to be the Tower, or for things to fall apart if they're not authentic, because again, that whole honor and integrity comes into things. So you also have the Six of Swords with the Page of Wands. See, that's interesting, because Six of Swords for me, upright, it is about moving forward, moving on. Sometimes when it's in reverse, it's about going back to a situation, but it's really weird. I'll have to look at that on its own, because you've then got the Page of Wands, who's always ready to go off on a new path. So I don't know if it means, because it's swords, it's about reviewing. Is the Six of Swords about reviewing things? Like if something is disappointing to you or it's bullshit to you, you cut it out, but you review how that situation went, what you can learn from that, so you can move forward. Let's get one more after that Page of Wands, and then I'll look at that Six of Swords on its own. I mean, that is a new opportunity, isn't it? So let's look at the Six of Swords. Yeah, what you learn from the situation, I feel. Oh, although you've got Judgment there, so... But Judgment, I know we talk about Judgment being about second chances, but it doesn't have to mean a second chance with the exact same person, situation. It's like, if you break up with someone, you have a relationship, you break up with someone, and a new person comes along, it's a second chance at a relationship, but with a different person. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the exact same person, but with that Hermit, it feels like learning, reviewing, and then as we say, Judgment is reviewing the past. And then, as I keep saying now, my new thing with this King of Cups is it's gaining some kind of emotional mastery or maturity within a particular situation and taking that forward as well, or some emotional intelligence or resilience or something to that effect. It's overall learning, and being willing to keep learning the present again. You know what you stand for, you know what you believe in, but you're still willing to continue to go on to keep learning. As long as you have the honor and integrity, you will tear everything down and start again if it doesn't match your honor and integrity, and you'll commit to something else that has more honor and integrity. So we'll leave that there, and we'll look at, I'm just getting the same thing. I don't even know if it's worth, no, I probably won't clarify the Lovers and the Eight of Cups and the Death card, because it feels like the same thing. Yeah, okay, I will just out of curiosity, but it's the same thing. As I've said in a few previous readings, the Lovers, it is about connecting with what you love, but it's also the choice between, like, vice, as someone else has mentioned. I don't know if you watch Divine Conversations, Eric, his channel Divine Conversations, he's mentioned it before about the Lovers being a choice between vice and virtue. Vice is the things that you feel like it's kind of like a devil energy, isn't it, that you feel tied to. And then virtue is the thing that's authentic, the thing that you love, that is genuine, not the addiction. It's the thing that's genuine. And again, as I said, it's like an energy of not settling. You'll have a rebirth. You'll go off and try again and have a rebirth rather than settling for something. Yeah, let's have a nose, but I feel like there's not much else to look at from that. So again, apply it as you will, whether it is a relationship, a path, a situation to do with your identity, your beliefs. It's just not settling, not doing anything that doesn't match your honor and integrity, and again, taking that forward. Strength, it's the courage, isn't it? It's the courage. If something feels like bullshit and it looks like bullshit, to get the hell out of there and know that you have the strength and resilience to kind of take the lead, stand up for yourself, do what you got to do. So you've got, yep, I mean, that's where you put something to an end. You've got the Four of Wands there. You can build a new foundation. If you need to build a new foundation, you build a new foundation. So yeah, I'm going to leave that because that's just a repeat. So this is you in the current, and this was what you needed to know, and it's just repeating that. The Page of Cups, your guidance. Let's have a look at that, because that can be about vulnerability as well. It can also be about expression, but it would be authentic expression with the Page of Cups because it comes from the heart, doesn't it? And the heart is authentic. The heart is probably more authentic than the mind, because the mind logics the shit out of everything. The heart doesn't logic anything. The heart is just pure. So the Page of Cups, it might be telling you to be very aware of your purest intentions in any situation, and that will tell you what is authentic. And yeah, the Star, I mean, that can it be about purity? I don't know, but I'm saying it can. So I feel like it can. What's the word? Is it cleansing? I think it can be associated with cleansing and purification. So yeah, purest intentions. And it is intentions as well, isn't it, the Star? Because it is your wishes, your heart's desire. Standing up for that with that Seven of Wands. Anything else? The Sun. Again, being very clear about what your purest intentions are. So we'll leave that. That's enough for that, and we'll go into the future 2024 energy. So again, this is you in that energy again, that authentic energy of having the purest of intentions. But let's see what else comes out. And the Three of Wands is about intentions as well, isn't it? So the Page of Pentacles, it can be about starting anew. It can be about having a new seed to plant. It can be an energy of learning. There may be something here for you about learning more about what your heart's desires and purest intentions are, with the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles as well. Like, so the Page of Swords would be kind of the investigating, like, kind of, I mean, I know your heart's involved as well. Which page is missing, actually? Page of Wands, and I feel like he's already come up somewhere. He's just not on the table right now. But yeah, learning more about what your heart's intentions are, like figuring out what they are, acknowledging and knowing what they are. And the Page of Pentacles is your behaviors, it's your actions, isn't it? It's the physical things that you do to bring those into reality or to move towards them. So anything else? Anything else for the Star? Oh my God, you got the Star again. Okay, so the big thing about purest intentions here. Anything else? Three of Swords. Let's get one more after that Three of Swords, please. The Hermit. Okay. Might be a bit of a healing element here as well, but I think through healing and through the shitty experiences that you have, when you have healed, you do learn more about your purest intentions. I mean, the Hermit he's a seeker of truth, isn't he? Whether you are a man or a woman, I'll point out. But yeah, there may really be something here to do with learning more about your purest intentions. Right, you got the Hanged Man. I mean, that's your perspectives. It's your inner perspectives, your inner beliefs. The High Priestess. It is it's your intuition, isn't it? Again, that is strongly connected to your purest intentions. Nine of Wands. It feels more like, this one feels more like patience. So it may be patience with yourself. You may need to have patience with others in terms of learning more about this. You know, like sometimes when you're trying to figure out what your path is, and you're sort of doing all sorts of things to try and come to that realization, or to squeeze the knowledge out. And it's like, well, no, you can't. You just got to live your life. I mean, I'm not saying you have to sit around doing nothing and it'll come to you, but you can't force it. You have to kind of have the patience to live your life, do the day-to-day things that you got to do, take care of the small things, the life's essentials, and do what you enjoy, but keep a listening ear out for what your heart and your intuition tells you. You have to kind of be patient within that. So I will leave that there, and we will look at the Page of Swords. So let's look at the Page of Swords. So this was your energy specifically. Again, that purest intentions thing. Page of Swords, that's what you need to know. I said that was more about the learning side of things. Learning more about who you are as well. You've got the 8 of Wands. So there can be a communication thing or element here as well to things. 6 of Swords. So 6 of Swords and 8 of Wands together can also be, for me, about progression. It's going off on a journey. And notice in this 6 of Swords, there's only one person here. You know, usually you've got the, it's usually a person with a kid and someone assisting them, or even if the kid isn't there, there's someone assisting them, but they are doing this on their own, aren't they? That's quite unusual for a 6 of Swords. It's usually more than one person. Actually, no, I can think of another deck where there's only one person, to be honest. Anything else? We've got the King of Cups. You got the 8 of Wands twice, actually, so it really could be about moving on. There could be something here, learning how to move on. And even if it's in terms of your intentions, learning how to move maybe forward with your intentions. And it might be a specific intention, because if you've already successfully figured out who you are and what you stand for, I mean, maybe you have gotten to the point where you know who you are and what you stand for, and it is a case of moving on those intentions now, or you've already done some of that and there's like a specific thing that you want to move forward with. I mean, here, King of Cups, High Priestess, for me, that is about honoring how you feel, and again, your intuition. There is a quite spiritual energies here. Could be honoring your spiritual path as well. But honoring those in order to move forward and progress, and learning how to do that as well, or learning more about that. And you get the Emperor. That's where you take the lead, you take control, you're the CEO of your life, and you decide what you do. And then you've got the Knight of Swords there, your truth. But it's learning, I feel like it's more learning how to use all of that to move you forward, to progress. So let's go into the final bit of advice for you. So 2024, again, so far, purest intentions, how to move forward with that. And 4 of Cups, again, it's the energy of not settling. If you're not settling, then you are acting on your purest intentions, aren't you, really? And yeah, what more can I say? We will get a little bit more to look at that, and then I'll get your final card of advice. So 4 of Cups, will I take that? The Fool, yeah. I would say with that 3 of Pentacles, that is where you consider who and what is in alignment with, or in line with your intentions and your values and those kind of things. Because that's who or what you'd want to collaborate with, ideally, wouldn't you? You don't want to collaborate with people who are completely on a different page to you, or situations that are completely on a different page, or have different values or different intentions. You want it to all be a good match. The Fool is more so the taking a leap of faith, taking a risk. Once you have the intention, it's being willing to take a leap of faith with it. 2 of Wands, it's choosing your path. But again, hopefully you're wanting to choose what's in alignment with that. Anything else? Page of Wands, the willingness to explore. You may not have all the answers immediately, but you're willing to explore. Up, down, up. Okay. This is being willing to take on the challenges. I mean, as I say, with the Page of Wands, it's where you don't necessarily have all the answers or know everything, but you're willing to you do take a little bit of a calculated risk at the beginning, or a leap of faith, whichever way you want to do it. But even if you don't have all the answers, you're willing to take on the challenges too. Or even if you do have the answers and you know something's going to be challenging, that sounds completely contradictory. It's like you're willing to take the challenges on either way. So the final bit of advice I would say is, well, definitely not settling is number one. That's the first bit of advice, not settling. Again, it's that whole energy of what do you stand for? What do you want to stand up for? What are your purest intentions? And using that to move you forward or to progress and do whatever it is you want to do. So I'm going to get you a final card of advice from this very strange deck. It's a really weird deck. I kind of like using it, but it's odd. It's Paolo Barbieri Unicorns. It is really odd, but I find it fascinating. I don't use it that often, to be honest. So let's have a look at a card or two from that, see what comes out, and then that will wrap up Group 3, Deck 3's reading for 2024. So it's really taking an empowered energy and an energy of freedom of choice into 2024 with you. So any final messages for Group 3, Deck 3, Air Signs 2024, please? You have one so far. You have not a leaf ending. Do I want to get any more? I'll get one more. I will read them from the book. They're not excessively long. It's just a really weird, strange deck. Right, you get one more. Oh, yep. It's that. This is the energy I'm talking about. That 7 of Wands, that protection energy. Not a centaur, fighting spirit. I absolutely love this card. I feel like it's really... I think the first time it ever came out was in a Cancerian reading, and it was something about their fighting. Yeah, I think I titled the reading something about their fighting spirit. It's just a really powerful energy. It's Sedge. No, sorry, it's not actually Sedge, but it gives me Sagittarius vibes. So yeah, that 7 of Wands. I won't read this one because that fighting spirit, it's fighting spirit, isn't it? You know what that is. Standing up for who you are and what you believe in. But I will read this not a leaf ending card. But yeah, I really feel that this fighting spirit energy, it has the potential to do a lot for you in 2024 and carry it with you. And that doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect just because you have this energy, but it's like you can handle what you have to handle. You can handle your shit, basically. So not a leaf. Let's have a look at that. That's 26. And notice how this is number 9 as well. So that would be like 9 of Wands, where one of the meanings of the 9 of Wands is where somebody's still standing, aren't they? They're very resilient. They're battered, bruised, but they're still standing. So 26 is, right, ending, not a leaf. It says, transformation. The seasons change along your journey. The full culmination of summer comes to an end. The trees shed their beautiful glories and a wild blaze of colour ensues. A promise, a wish, a hope. This is not the end. It is a transition to be reborn again. In each leaf is a promise. Each colour provides a view. The end is the beginning of something new. And in this realization, the leaves do stir, whipping wildly in the wind. The leaf unicorn is unfurled. So I don't know if I mentioned rebirth in here, but I know I mentioned in terms of this tower energy. Oh, well, there's a death card there, isn't there? In terms of not settling, you know that if something doesn't match your honor and integrity and your purest intentions, you don't have to settle for it. You can transition into something new. Anyway, meditation message says, travel alongside the leaf unicorn in the wind as the chilly autumn air whisks you along the path in a flurry of activity and colour and sound. Crunch through the leaves, shiver in the gust, enjoy the colour, change is life, transition is a must. The affirmation says, the end is the beginning, I transition with ease, beauty and grace. The action says, no matter what the season, take time to appreciate the great changes all around us, in the leaves, in the seasons, in the time, in our hearts. Journal about your change of season or meditate or write poetry. Change is the mother of new birth and a new dawn. Transition on. So that was quite a nice message. So thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. Take care. Have a happy and blessed 2024.